So let me get this straight. She's just sitting there having a lovely conversation. Lovely, lovely conversation. And then it out. No, that's not even remotely believable. This is the final episode in this very short series for Bass Bogans. Hit the subscribe button. Do it. You know you want to. Okay, fine. So you don't want to. Here's the episode. It is the Behringer BEQ700. It's an EQ pedal, as the name suggests. And also, the title for the video probably gives it away as well. You know, I have had a lot of Behringer pedals in this series, and that's because I only buy pedals that I will use in recording. For me, for bass, it's the Behringer line, predominantly. I'm not going to go and buy a pedal specifically for tone Bogans, and I didn't do it for any of the other episodes either. I just maybe am a little bit of a hoarder, probably need to stop. So there might not be many or any Bass Bogans series in the future. There is a couple of weird pedals that I do want, but they're not necessary, for the sole reason that those plugins are available in Logic, and I can reamp as well with guitar pedals. Like a lot of them, it's packaged as a bass pedal, but it's actually perfectly usable on guitar, probably the same circuit in a different box. So for that reason, there's not a ton of bass pedals that I am going to buy moving forward. Now, do you want to hear about EQ? This is a graphic EQ pedal. Graphic EQ is really cool because you can have this visual representation of what your frequency band is doing, and it will look exactly the same as if you open up the EQ in Logic. If you open channel EQ and you have a look at how that works, you can kind of see that when you start to change it and you start to cut things and boost things, that you get a little ripple, or like a mountain range is also something that I kind of think it looks like as well. That is great way of visualizing the tone. Is it tone? Yeah, the tone that you're going for. On your bass, sometimes it is, this sounds really weird, but stay with me. Sometimes your bass is too bassy for what you're using it for. There's a lot of build-up of lower frequencies. So sometimes if you have a low guitar and a low bass, you're going to have to juggle and cut out frequencies in one and not the other, so that they sort of mesh together and sound like a unified instrument of its own. That is especially common in metal. You actually cut out more low end of the bass than you do of the guitar, and you keep a lot more mid-range of the bass than you do with the guitar. So when I say mid-range, kind of referencing, oops, I nearly smashed my other bass there, kind of referencing around about the 500 hertz range. And that's because bass sounds sick in that range. It sounds full, it sounds rounded, whereas guitar tends to sound just awful in that range. So it's like this nice little balancing act that you can cut some out of the guitar and you can put a little bit more in the bass, and they should sit together. And those frequencies are not going to be 100% accurate for every single application, but that's just a rough range that sounds shithouse on guitar and decent on bass. And there's other frequency ranges that you can do that with as well, like 1.2K is a common one to have on these graphic pedals. I think this one has 4.5K, which 4K on guitar, I just have a notch filter on that anyway, so I would probably, if that was a guitar pedal, just cut that one down a little bit. And then I don't have to do, it's one thing I don't have to do in Logic is go and put a notch filter on every single track, because I've already got rid of it when I've recorded it, and that is extremely helpful. That is what these pedals are for. They're not for extreme circumstances, although you can do that. You can get a filter effect, which we'll have a look at when we demo it. We'll use the Mudbucker Muddy Mudbucker, Muddy Mudskipper bass, and we will see if we can make, again, like we've done in other episodes, we'll see if we can make this a bit less muddy and a bit more usable in applications that I haven't bought this bass for. Just a bass loop. We're going to tweak all the sliders now, and we're going to change all the frequencies. So I will have them all turned off, and then I will lift them up. And it's kind of actually, if you're interested in live sound, that's how you tune a room with graphic EQ. You push the faders all onto 0, and then you lift up frequencies that you think are going to be a problem.
Come back, I think I need this now. Sit down, my feelings don't speak loud. I know you think I'm not interesting. Hear me out, I know my dreams are big.
There is probably tons I can say about EQ. However, I am not an advanced user of EQ. I've recently discovered this. I have a solid knowledge of EQ, but probably not at this stage enough to say, hey, these are all the things that you're doing wrong with EQ. Blah, blah, a video essay by Sarah Housen. Like, I'm probably in the future able to make a video like that and say, hey, well, you know, that sound is this EQ, but I have really bad hearing, so I'm not across what frequencies clash, and sometimes I can't even hear what's clashing at all, and I have to rely on other people giving me feedback about my mixes. Which, side note, do not ever be afraid to get critique on your mixes. Just pick the people that are going to be objective rather than critical. So there's my tip for bass Bogans. I keep trying to call it tone Bogans, but it's not, it's bass Bogans, and this is the last episode. And I've had a lot of fun making these episodes. I think we won't do this next week because this is the last episode, which I literally just said just now. Just said it. But what will come back is Tone Bogans. And I do have, I think, 11 or 12 pedals. Ones that I already had. I haven't bought anything new. Ones that I've been using in my lo-fi ambient and my drones. I'm going to showcase those. There's a lot of combo effects in those, so that will be really exciting for people that want a lot of variety, but they don't want a lot of pedals. These are pretty much for you, because I think 60% or maybe 65% of the pedals, because 11, yeah, there's about 7 pedals, yeah, I think my maths is right today, is these combination pedals where they're multi-effect, essentially. Stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching the entire Tone Bogans, Bass Bogan, whatever the hell series I've just created. Keep it real. I'll be back with Tone Bogans soon. And make sure that your mum is subscribed, that your grandma's subscribed. If your dog has a YouTube, let's make me the first YouTube channel to 1 billion subs. Yeah, 1 billion subs. Let's do it. Come on, guys, 1 billion. Actually, that's insane. I don't really think I could handle the pressure of 1 billion subscribers, but 1,000 would be nice. Huh? Tempted? Hit the button.